All right, everybody, season 2, episode 21, coming off of game 1, Indiana Pacers versus the Boston Celtics. A choke job from your guy, Tyrese Halliburton. A choke job from your guy, my guy. When he doesn't play well, we still win game 7. Your guy, when he doesn't play well, turns the ball over and you lose. Just saying, we're going to jump right into the game tonight, and we're going to talk a lot about really the final teams that are remaining. I know it's been a few days, but anybody that's been listening to us, I know they're going to want to catch up, hear what we think, because they know that I am Mr. Minnesota. My Timberwolves are going to the finals. I've been waiting for this for my whole life. I've been waiting for this my whole life, and it's finally going to happen. But before we get into any Minnesota conversations, we have to talk about the game that we just watched. Indiana had it. They literally had it, and they choked it away.
Handed the game to him. Handed the game to the number one team in the NBA. The only thing I needed the Pacers to do was just steal one game.
Oh my gosh.
You steal one of those games, and then they're bound to win one at home.
Yes.
But my thing with this series was, if the Pacers were going to not win a game at TD Garden, then it was going to be a 5-game series. They were going to steal one at home, go back. If they could have stolen that, you go back to Boston, and this could go 7, just like it went in New York.
Yeah, could be 2-2.
2-2, yeah. Then it's a 3-2. You get one back at home. Game 7 in TD Garden. But they lost this game, and we'll see how game 2 goes. But they gave the game to the number one team. You just handed it to them. So many opportunities to close the game out, and they just gave it to them. And people are going to talk about the foul, the free throw line disparity, but that's just style of basketball at this point. It's the same thing with the Lakers. The way the Pacers play is they shoot a lot. They drive and kick.
But they didn't get a free. They shot a free throw with 5 minutes and I think 56 seconds in the first quarter, and didn't shoot another free throw until the fourth quarter.
It's because they don't drive at the hoop like that.
But they've got bigs that are like, what are we talking about?
Miles Turner shoots the ball.
What are we talking about? They've got guys that are shooting in the paint.
No, they don't.
Guys that drive the ball.
No,
yes,
they don't. They really don't.
Do. Oh my gosh.
Okay, the free throw disparity should not be that bad.
No, it shouldn't.
But the Celtics,
it should be in Boston's favor. It should be in Boston's favor, but it should never be that bad.
Yes, I mean it was what. Okay. When it mattered, the free throw disparity was 3-24, I think, or something like that.
It was horrendous. Horrendous.
Shouldn't be that way, but Pacers blew it regardless. Tyrese Halliburton blew it.
Yeah.
Andrew Nembhard blew it. They had opportunities to win and they turned the ball over. So shout out to Jaylen Brown for hitting one of the most clutch shots I've ever seen. But yeah, it was a great game. First half was beautiful. They end going even. But I texted you about this. You just kind of feel like the Pacers are just playing catch up the whole time. Even when they're up, you're still super scared. And I think experience started to show towards the end of the game.
Yeah, so here's the free throw disparity, right? So the Indiana Pacers shot 9 for 10. Boston shot 24 for 30. I'm okay if that's somewhere close. If Boston's going to go 24 for 30, they're going to get 30 attempts. I think that Indiana at least should be somewhere between 16 and 21. That's just how I feel. I do believe that Boston's style of play is they're going to be shooting more free throws. I mean, you can look at one matchup in particular when Jaylen Brown is being guarded by Tyrese Halliburton. The guy can't defend him. It's like when your big brother. It's like when you're playing dunk ball with your big brother. He's a senior and you're in 7th grade. That's what it looks like. Like he just gets pushed around. If there's one thing that Tyrese Halliburton should learn coming out of this series, it should be what a weight room looks like, because that's what he needs to do is lift some weights. He's just not strong enough to go against the Boston Celtics. If you're playing the Knicks and it's a lot of 6'3" guys because they're running the Villanova guys, you're somewhat viable. But when you play Boston and you're going to be switching on Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I'm not saying you have to be jacked. That's not what I'm saying. But you can't get pushed like that when you're as tall as he is. You can't get pushed like that. He's not TJ McConnell, okay? And I don't even think TJ would get pushed like that. So for me, he's got to hit the weight room. He needs to get some composure because the 2 turnovers, just dribbling the basketball, they broke the back of the team. I'm telling you. And I didn't even think they were going to be in a position to win the game. When I saw, Boston jumps out to a 12-0 run, that's we see this kind of thing happen in the NBA where you're playing the law of averages. Maybe one team comes out and they make 6 straight shots and you miss 5 straight, and then they miss 4 in a row, you make 5 in a row, and it evens out more often than not. And so that wasn't surprising, but they never could take the lead in the first half. And I thought that was going to continue. But you know what? Boston's going to Boston, and Tatum is going to Tatum. He didn't want to win that game for him. He didn't even shoot the last shot to send him to overtime. They inbounded it to Jaylen Brown. And so in true Boston fashion, they gave Indiana a chance to really win this game. And they had the opportunity to seize their moment. They just didn't do it. They really didn't do it. It seemed like the moment was too big, too bright for that team. And what's hard is that was when you were going to surprise Boston, right? Like that was the game where you snuck up on them. In game 2, they're going to be ready to punch you in the face. Like that was your chance to win one of the first 2 games. Because if you thought it was tough there, if you thought that moment was difficult now, wait till you see what happens in a couple days. Wait till you see what happens on Thursday. It's going to be a lot harder, period. And so it was just crushing because everyone and their dog in the media, anyone on Twitter, nobody believes the Pacers are winning this series. And they had a chance to really punch the number 1 team in the NBA in the mouth. And they just whiffed. They missed. I still can't believe it.
It unraveled so quickly. So quickly. The first Tyrese turnover was like, oh, here we go. Like he dribbled the ball and just kicked it off of his leg.
Yeah.
Just kicked it off his leg. And it's like, there's 27 seconds on the clock.
It wasn't even that much ball pressure.
No, there was 0 ball pressure. He was bringing the ball up the court off a rebound.
It wasn't even.
They were going to have to come and foul him or wait for. All you have to do is hold on to the ball.
That's it.
And
okay, but what about the second one? Once again, it was not much ball pressure from Drew Holiday.
And then he just scared of Drew Holiday. He got scared of Drew Holiday.
What?
And then you see him. He tried to play it off like he got pushed. I don't know if you saw that, but the ball went out of bounds and he leaped into the commentators.
And then, dude. Yeah. Oh, bad.
But it was only a matter of time before a team figured out that Hallie can't guard. Only a matter of time.
Oh, dude, he cannot.
You got through it in the first round because of injuries. You got through it in the second round because of injuries. You get here, this whole starting lineup can attack you. They're just looking for a switch. And not only that, Aaron Naismith fouled out of the game.
And that was a tough one because he's their athletic defender. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the play where Nembhard falls to the ground, Jason Tatum gets that and one. That killed it because Naismith was playing great defense. He's very physical, and then he fouls out of the game, and it just goes downhill from there.
Well, and now Tatum, he survives what would have been so much. He would have gotten destroyed online if that game would have ended and Indiana wins because he was passive. He was not trying to take over the moment. He had the bad turnover to Drew Holiday. Like I said, he wasn't even shooting that shot at the end of regulation. And then he gets the 3-pointer in overtime, wide open top of the key. And man, did that make such a difference. There's nothing anybody can say because he had that one moment. He had that one moment.
The man had, I think, more than 35, but
he had 36. He had 36, but it went to overtime.
And again, this is
26 in regulation
from him. He goes to the Eastern Conference Finals like every other year. So, the people are going to talk about like, why don't we expect this from any other player? It's because he came into a good situation with the Celtics. This is what we expect from the guy. So, if they lose the game, it's because of him. We know that.
Tyrese Halliburton was a -11 plus minus.
TJ McConnell's minutes were great.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Seems like they always are.
6 for 11, 13 points. He's not getting the looks he did last round. Like he's not as open when he's shooting the ball, which is to be expected. But man, he's such a high value piece for that team.
Knock down a 30-footer. You can knock down a 30-footer, which he did multiple times. So,
gosh,
but this
man.
was the game to win. Boston kind of off their stuff. They haven't played this team. That was the opportunity to steal one, and
it was, and I think you can. I'd expect to see a double-digit win from Boston in Game 2.
Statement win.
Yeah. I think it's going to be it'll be a big win. Indiana, I believe, will win a game, no matter what happens. They're still going to win a game. Boston's going to Boston.
If he can do it, they can definitely do it.
They're going to have a night. I mean, today they went 15 for 45 from 3, 33%. That's below average for NBA numbers. But I think they're going to have a real stinker where they'll be in the 20s and they'll lose. That's normally the barometer for what happens at Boston. If they are missing threes, you can win the game. And case in point tonight. But once again, nobody expected Tyrese Halliburton to be here. Nobody thought the Pacers would be here. And Boston didn't expose them. They exposed themselves. But this is a learning opportunity for that franchise. It really is. This is the time for them to learn, to figure this stuff out. Because they shouldn't be here. And they had a chance to punch the number 1 seed, and they missed it. Unfortunate. In other news, on the other side of the bracket, we have an incredible matchup. My Minnesota Timberwolves on their finals run against the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, who apparently is Unk now, who apparently the young people are calling Unk now. It's crazy. Roman, what are you looking forward to the most from this Timberwolves Mavericks matchup?
The thing I'm excited for is to see the matchups tomorrow. I've been running it through my head, and I mean, the Timberwolves basically have 2 centers starting when we think about it.
Yes, no, for sure.
And if the Mavericks start their 2 centers, obviously their rookie Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, who do they put at the 3? This is my thing, because Derek Jones Jr. has been playing extremely well for them, but so has PJ Washington. He's been hitting timely shots, and they've both been just their primary defenders. But who knows? It's unpredictable. They could just go the small ball lineup, continue to do it, and take the possible loss. Put a PJ Washington, just put him on Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know what they're going to do for these matchups. I don't know what they're going to do for it.
You can't play 2 centers if you're Dallas, because they don't have anybody in rotation. Who are they supposed to sub?
Luka and Kyrie can't attack either. Are they going to kick it out to Lively?
Because Maxi Kleba isn't playing. I mean, he's a power forward. Unless his shoulder.
I think he's out for the season. I think he's done for.
Yeah, I'm looking at their roster right now, and the only other center that I can see on this list is Dwight Powell, and I haven't seen that guy play in a minute.
Kicked him out the rotation as soon as they got Gafford.
He is absolutely out of the rotation. This is what I've been trying to tell people. And finally, right, some people started picking up on it where they're like, the Timberwolves were uniquely positioned to beat the Nuggets. Yeah, that's what I've been saying from the beginning. But let me tell you something. The Minnesota Timberwolves are uniquely built to beat everyone left. They are built to beat everyone left on both sides of the ball. Their liability, the only thing, their Achilles heel, is how well are they going to show up on offense? That is the one question that you have. If there's one team that you question their offense, it's Minnesota. You're not questioning anybody else's offense. You question the Pacers defense, but you're not questioning anybody else's offense. But they put so much pressure on Dallas because they run Karl Anthony Towns at the 4. It's just an absolute mismatch. And then they've got Naz Reid off the bench. Like, there's not a single team that's left that is going to be able to match up against what they're going to be seeing. Because even if you beat Cat off the dribble, he's coming over from behind, and you've got Gobert in front of you, or you've got Naz Reid, and Naz Reid can play like a guard. Like, there's no one positioned apples to apples, roster to roster, to beat this roster. Minnesota, the only way Minnesota loses is if they beat themselves. Now, Jaden McDaniels defending Luka, he's going to be in foul trouble every single game. Luka is for sure going to get him in foul trouble, but you're probably going to see Luka arguing with the refs more this round than last round, because McDaniels, he fouls like every play. He's a little chippy. He's the kind of guy you got to sub out if he gets a little too hot-headed in certain moments. You can look to see, I know Luka loves to hunt matchups. Look for him to hunt Mike Conley. That's probably what they're going to do, is they're going to try and put Mike Conley in the action and see if they can expose that matchup as best they can. But outside of that, I mean, Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels with 3 7-footers behind him. There's just, and Luka with he's not 100% with the knee. I'm taking the Minnesota Timberwolves to win this series. I have them winning in 6 games. I believe they win game 1. They lose game 2. They win 3, lose 4, and then win 5 and 6. That's how I think it goes. I think it's back and forth. It's haymakers the first 4 games, and then they tighten up last 2 in a similar way that they did with Denver, and they win the series.
I like it. I think the Mavericks have surprised a lot of people. I think Luka has put himself in a good situation now, and Kyrie is proving to be the perfect counterpart for them. So
he's been fantastic.
I'm still going to say Timberwolves, but I think this is going to go to 7. I truly think this is going to go to 7.
I can't.
And it's just because it's Luka and Kyrie. This isn't 2K. I know the Timberwolves on paper are going to be better, but Luka and Kyrie are going to find a way to win 3 games, I think.
Okay. Let's do something really quick. I want you, in order, to tell me the top 5 players in the series.
In order?
In order. 1 to 5.
Luka.
Okay.
Ant.
Okay.
Kyrie.
Okay.
I don't know where I want to throw Rudy Gobert because he's just a presence at this point. I'm going to say Rudy, then Cat.
Wow. Okay. That's unexpected. This is how you know that Roman is not just a Rudy Gobert hater, because to put him at 4 is that's a sign that Roman is not a Rudy hater.
Hall of Famer, Rudy Gobert.
So what you're telling me is Dallas at their best has the best players. They've got the best talent of the series, but Minnesota,
2 of the 3 best players.
But Minnesota has more depth.
Yes. You can't trust the bench. I mean, they just randomly started throwing Hardy back in there. The Mavericks did.
Yeah.
He played well. He helped them a lot, but Jason Kidd just randomly switched it up and started throwing people in there. But
Tim Hardaway Jr. hasn't been consistent.
This is what I'm saying.
And Josh Green doesn't look like he can shoot the ball.
No, it's all over the place. But again, all it's going to take is for them to have one good game, and oh no, this might go to 7. So I trust a team that's been to the Western Conference Finals that they can take it to 7, even though they didn't even when they played the Warriors a couple of years ago. But the Timberwolves can throw so many matchups at them. I mean, Ant has no issue guarding either Kyrie or Luka.
No.
Jaden McDaniel's not going to have any issue guarding Luka. He might have a little bit guarding Kyrie, but he's going to try and guard him. And then you have Nickeil Alexander-Walker coming off the bench, who's just going to be a pest on defense.
Yep.
So they have so many guys that they can throw at them, which is a little bit different than the OKC series. It was Lou Dort or nobody else.
Well, and you just had young guys that were just falling apart. Like Josh Giddey fell apart, dude. He was bad. And to be honest, I don't even know how he would play well. It's been such a rough year for him, given everything that's happened in the media.
And got kicked out of his starting position.
Like, my goodness, dude. Yeah, he got relegated to the bench. They had Gordon Hayward, who didn't score a single point. I just don't think Minnesota's going to fall apart like that. I just don't. Like, the guys that won't have the ball in their hands enough to do it.
It's just, Kyrie's good. Kyrie is very good.
This series, to me, comes down to two players, one on each team. It's not Luka and it's not Anthony Edwards, because I believe Luka he's gonna score his 30 a night. You can make it difficult. He might have an off shooting night, but even his off nights are 28 points, 26 points,
16 assists. Yeah.
Anthony Edwards, I think he's gonna have probably 4 good games and 2 bad games. He'll probably have a 40 ball somewhere in there, a couple 30 pieces, and then a 16 out of nowhere, just a bad game. That's okay. It's a 7-game series for a reason. This series comes down to Kyrie and Karl Anthony Towns. The whole series comes down to those two players offensively, because both players at times in the earlier series, they've kind of disappeared. Like, Kyrie has fallen into this habit where he's like 2 points at the half, 4 shots at the half, and then he has to have a big second half, or he just becomes like the ultimate passer and isn't scoring the ball, which if for me, I love that. I don't want Kyrie to go off. Please pass the ball. Please, PJ Washington, I'd love to see you shoot it. I don't want to see Kyrie shoot it. That's why I think that's the key matchup of the series. Whoever dominates the series offensively, Kyrie or Karl Anthony Towns, their team's going to win this. And who's going to defend Karl Anthony Towns? I don't think Lively can stop him, and I don't think Gafford can stop him. The only person that can stop Karl Anthony Towns is if he keeps doing that stupid hip check at the 3-point line. Stupid hip check. And then looks at the refs like what are you looking like that?
I didn't move.
Like, stop doing it. No. Stop doing it. That is the entire series to me, is just those two players. Those are the only two players I'm looking at.
That's what they say. Role players are the series, man.
But those guys are as one step above a role player. We can't relegate them to role players.
No, my bad.
Yeah.
But you have your superstars.
Yes.
And then you have your players that are going to change the series.
If you have a superstar meltdown, sure. Like, you have a LeBron 2011, you're not winning the series. We understand that. But we expect the stars to be stars. And that's when you look at the others.
Agreed. It's going to be a good one. I know we're going to see a couple Luka Kyrie masterpieces. I can see the post-game interview right now from Kyrie talking about, I'm just so blessed to play this game of basketball. But then it's going to be Ant goes for 47 the next game. But
the Ant 40 ball is going to be the fun one.
Has some experience and can really take it to 7. They're not
okay. Oh, take a step back. This Mavs team has experience? No. A couple guys have experience, but the team does not.
Okay. Yes.
This is like we're overvaluing experience. Did you forget where PJ Washington came from?
From the Hornets.
Did you forget where Daniel Gafford came from? They've never been here before. Those guys have never been here.
But now they've played a couple playoff series and they've become trustworthy.
But they've never played at this level. Just like nobody. What are we doing? They've never played at this level. Luka has. Kyrie obviously has. Kyrie's played beyond this level. He has the most championship pedigree of anyone remaining in the postseason. Hats off to him. I'm not going to say anything about that guy, but like, come on, man.
Don't hate. Hate. All I need is those two. That they've gotten this far. They haven't gone to a game 7. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm telling you right now, the Anthony Edwards edits are going to be Ant clowning Luka Doncic and him crying to refs. Like, those are going to be like the Not Like Us memes, or the videos, whatever the new hit song is. As soon as they start playing, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be Luka crying to the refs after like game 1 when things aren't going his way and the Timberwolves are up and they're winning. Like, you're going to see him crying to the referees quite a bit.
It's one thing we need to watch for. Are the Mavericks going to be crying to the refs?
We already know what's going to happen. It's not even an if.
Luka does his thing before Game 6. The reporters were like, Luka's going to stop talking to the refs so much. But even during the game, it's like he laughs, and they scored on a fast break. His team, they called a timeout, and he goes and immediately talks to the ref. It's things like that where you just need to go win a basketball game. He's too focused on the refs.
Let's talk about that because he's lucky they won the game, because it wasn't just that he talked to the refs during the timeout. He spent like half the timeout talking to the ref. He wasn't even in the huddle with the team. He was just talking to the referees. He's freaking lucky they won, because he would have gotten eviscerated for it. And it's just, these are the types of things that the new NBA is so funny to me, because the star players that we grew up watching, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, right? The elite of the elite players, they would get destroyed for doing this stuff. They would get absolutely dog walked by the media if they acted like this. But like
Luka's getting somewhat of treatment like that.
Okay, but how about Jokic? How about Jokic losing a Game 7?
Yeah, but he's won a championship now. The man has 3 MVPs.
And LeBron won championships, and he to this day still gets torched.
For him, it's more of an expectation thing.
3 MVPs. We're talking about 3 MVPs, and we talked more about Mike Malone in the post-game interview than Jokic. I'm just saying,
it's the media. You can't talk about Jokic. He doesn't care about basketball.
I'm just saying this is new media. It proves that none of these guys are really the faces of the league. Now, if Anthony Edwards loses, I'm not going to be the guy that's going to say when, but if he loses, I'll tell you what, he may have racked up a lot of fans, but there's a lot of haters too. There's a lot of people that really hate what he's saying. They hate that he curses so much in the post-game interviews. They hate that he's clowning. He's waving goodbye to the fans, pointing at fans, that he's pointing at the scoreboard to Jokic. Man, there's some people out there that just hate that. They just can't handle it. They can't handle it. And so there's a lot of people waiting for his downfall.
I think there is.
In a pivot to maybe a more positive conversation, we're looking at 4 stars, maybe 5 if you want to go 1A, 1B with Boston, that someone's going to win a ring. And I want to know whose legacy will improve the most by winning and whose legacy will fall the most by losing. Anthony Edwards, Luka. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. Anthony Edwards, Luka, Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton. Right. If you're picking one guy from every team, those are the 4.
Improve the most is Luka, 100%.
Really?
I don't think there's any other player that improves the most. I mean, Jason Tatum, if he wins, it's going to be a finally thing. With Luka, it's going to be this guy's still really young, and he just won one. This guy should have an MVP, we feel like, and he just won that championship. I feel like his legacy improves the most off of a championship, especially at this age. And what was the other side of the question? Who does it hurt the most?
Who like losing, whether this round or the next, whose legacy is hurt the most by losing?
Tatum. It's Tatum. It has to be. To get this far, this many times, and only make it to if he loses this round, break it up. Get rid of him. Get rid of one of them. We're done with this. You just lost to the Pacers.
Yeah.
But if they lose in the finals, we're having that same conversation that we've been having for now 7 years of this guy. 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts him the most to lose. The Timberwolves and the Pacers, it's more young team. Why are they here? I mean, less Timberwolves.
Yes.
Pacers.
The Timberwolves aren't a young team.
They're not young.
They've just never been here.
Their connection is young.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's
So that's
we're
my
not
saying.
used to them in the playoffs. They're young in terms of playoff runs. Like we do.
Yes, everybody
Yeah.
assumed, okay, the Nuggets, you run into the Nuggets in the second round,
Yeah.
they're going to win it in 5-6 games, but
Yeah.
they just beat the defending champions.
They
So I
did.
think it's like, even if they don't make the finals, it's like this team is very scary going into next year, next 2 years, that type of thing.
This is a make or break year, dude, because their owner just doesn't pay over the luxury tax. And if they Carl Anthony Towns, like Anthony Edwards is about to get really expensive. And so there's a really, really good chance that Carl Anthony Towns is going to get traded. Like low key, this is really the year.
You think it's make or break? And Mike Conley's getting old.
I think Mike Conley's retiring at the end of the season.
That's why I
That's
said
too
do it for me.
like
For me, guys.
that's a big, big deal, especially the Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert connection too. If I'm answering that same question, I think Anthony Edwards has the most to gain. I think Anthony Edwards has the most to gain because he's 22 years old, which means he won at a younger age than Jordan, at a younger age than LeBron. He has enough aura to really be the face of the league. Like we're reaching that polarizing moment where you either love the guy or you hate the guy. And that is such a big deal in terms of face of the league. Look at Tom Brady. You loved the guy or you hated the guy. Patrick Mahomes, you love the guy or you hate the guy. LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, like a lot of these players, you either love them or you hate them. And Anthony Edwards, he is that player right now. He's just edgy enough in, super soft 2024 that if he wins this at 22 years old, he just got a signature shoe. Are you kidding? He'd be the first Adidas player as the best player on the team to win a championship. Like that's a big, it's a huge, huge deal if he wins this ring. Huge, massive.
I think a lot of people forget how young he is too. Like,
dude,
you think of most of the greats, they don't have rings this early in their career. They really don't. It's usually about when they hit their peak, the prime of their career, year 6 through year 8.
Yeah.
That's about the time where they get their first championship. If he gets it this early, he's on a great trajectory. But that's still but if he does win this, wow, that's scary.
This is one of the things that really pisses me off is so many people are like, you can't compare him to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was 6-0 in the finals. Michael Jordan this, Michael Jordan that. It's not like there's 2 levels to this that I think are really important to break down. And one comment. The comment is you have to stop comparing players to a full career. Like you can't compare Michael Jordan at the end of his career to Anthony Edwards in like the 3rd year of his career. That is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard in my life. It is so stupid. It's so stupid to me. A player can play stylistically like someone else, and it doesn't mean that we're putting all of the expectations that someone else's entire career had because they can jump like someone else we've seen. They can dunk like someone else we've seen. We're just saying, I've seen this before on television. This reminds me of Jordan. And I appreciate that it's Ant to Jordan more than Ant to Kobe, because with Kobe, there was more of an art to the way that he played. Like even early in his career, he also was a better outside shooter than Jordan. Where Anthony Edwards, there's just this raw ability, just this raw offensive scoring that it, to me, it looks more like Jordan than it does Kobe personally. But if we go to Jordan's career, I've got his career pulled up right here. 1984, 1985, did he win a championship? No. 1985, 1986, did he win a championship? No. 86 to 87, was he winning a ring in year 3? No. Guess what? He was 23 in year 3. He did not win a ring. How about 87, 88? Did he win a ring? Nope. 88, 89? Did he win a ring? Nope. How about 89, 90? Did he win a ring? No. No, he didn't.
It took him 6 years. Yep.
It took him 6 years to do it. And so we're not comparing Anthony Edwards to championship level Michael Jordan. We're not comparing him to 30 a game, 10-time all defensive, like that's the scoring champ. Like we're not comparing him to that Jordan. We're just saying early Jordan, where he would just carry his team and go out and try to win games, that was running into these buzzsaws in the playoffs. Like Ant was supposed to lose to Denver. That was supposed to be his Boston Celtics. That was supposed to be his Boston Celtics matchup. And he beat them in 7 games. I don't know. Am I crazy?
No. I wish we could have had this round as Western Conference Finals.
Oh, gosh.
That would have made it so much better.
Oh, my gosh. If
But
we could
no.
have seen Denver play Dallas, Luka versus Jokic, the best friends, and then he sees Ant in the that would have been great. But continue. Sorry.
It would have been great. But no, yeah, that's the thing with we're not comparing him saying that Ant is Jordan. It's just the way that he plays at such a young age.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, everybody, if you took somebody and had them watch Ant, or like somebody who doesn't really know the game, I bet if we even asked our mom, like he's probably been in the league for 7 or 8 years. Like,
yeah.
No, he's 22 years old. He's so young, and he's leading his team, and now they're in the Western Conference Finals. So like I've said, if he even has a finals appearance this young, it's the trajectory is there. It's definitely there.
If we go, I'm pulling up Anthony Edwards, his career stats right now. I just want to take a peek, right? Like came into the league at 19. He's 22 now. This is year 4. He played 79 games this season, 79 last season. Does that sound like anybody to you? To me, that sounds like Jordan, who was playing 82 games a year outside of his second year in the league. Like, I mean, obviously his scoring 24 a game, 25 a game this year. He's Jordan-like, man. He's Jordan-like, and he's got a legitimate chance to go and win a championship.
There's no better year than this year.
Oh, no.
No better year.
No. And
every year presents different challenges, but this is a great opportunity for him to steal one early.
If you put Minnesota on the map, I mean, you're immortal. You did something that Kevin Garnett couldn't do. Like, it's a big deal.
I mean, the Timberwolves are a bit bigger. I mean, but if it wasn't for Kevin Garnett, they would be a Wizards, a Pistons team.
Well, the Pistons at least have history. The Pistons have history.
Yeah, but the Pistons sold their soul for that championship. They sold their franchise for that 1 year of winning. I mean, they had a few good years, but that 2004 championship,
please let us beat the Lakers. Yeah, they sold they sold their chance at a number 1 draft pick forever.
Chauncey Billups went out and beat Kobe and Shaq. What are we talking about here?
I don't know, man. It's I just shake my head.
That's a good thing, because it's like the Bulls are the Bulls because of Jordan.
Yeah.
The Cavs were made the Cavs because of LeBron.
Yep.
Is this an opportunity for the Timberwolves to become the Timberwolves best-selling jerseys type of franchise in the future because of Anthony Edwards?
Yeah, I don't know. We will see. We will see. What's scary is he can continue to improve. What's scary is he can continue to improve. He's not even close to his mid-20s, let alone late 20s. He could do this for a decade.
10 more years.
But what we also keep doing in the league right now is as soon as the team wins, we want to claim a dynasty before they've done it again, right? Denver was supposed to be a dynasty. Milwaukee was supposed to be a dynasty. And
we have LeBron James and Steph Curry to blame for that.
You're right. You're right. You're right. Like they made
They
dynasties
ruined
look
the
easy.
2010s.
They made
Everybody thinks it's
dynasties
so
look
easy
easy.
to get to the finals now.
Like they made playoffs boring because you knew who was going to be there at the end. Like it was just like, let's fast forward this.
LeBron won Game 7 versus the Celtics. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
It
Now
was supposed to be.
it's, you know,
Now it's who's going to win.
it's who's going to win. It is. It's
Every
who's going to
game.
win. It's who's going to win. Okay, but here's the thing. Even if Boston wins, though, that I was thinking, name an easier run.
Yeah, but people discredit.
They earned the number 1 seed, which earned them the
Yeah.
path that they got. But I mean, Miami, no Jimmy Butler. Like, just look at the East. The East isn't even fun to watch. You're watching the East as an appetizer, hoping you get a solid Western Conference game. That's been me all postseason.
This year is kind of a letdown for the league if the Celtics don't make the finals.
If the Pacers go to the finals, it is bad for the league.
If the Pacers make the finals, the NBA is switching something up on that Eastern side.
Yeah, because they did not pull ratings. Did you hear the rumor that Minnesota might get moved to the East if they do an expansion?
I have heard that if they do expansion stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. The East is been kind of bad the past few years, so but it's really been Celtics Bucks for the past few years. I mean, obviously the Heat are there, but
yeah, and the Heat
there's not as much entertainment on that side. That's for sure.
No.
That's 100% for sure.
No, but the East really has always had this inevitability. If this isn't a microcosm of what we've seen since the year 2000, I don't know what is. Even before that, because then you're talking Jordan. Like, this is just honestly what the Eastern Conference is. It's the West. It's the West, and it has been for the better part of 3 decades. It's so hard to know what you're going to see come out of the Western Conference. I mean, the Spurs won 5 championships and never won back-to-back. That's weird.
Like every other year.
Like, that's weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much like that. I know Oklahoma City lost. I know the way they lost, a lot of people loved because Shea, obviously a foul baiter, not Joel Embiid, but close. You lump him into that group with Jalen Brunson, Luka Doncic, a couple of these guys, and then he fouls for them to lose the series. I don't think, a game comes down to the final play. There's a lot of plays that lead up to it, but you can't keep all these guys. It feels like you have some players that are kind of all about the same, and somebody's got to go. For me, I'm moving Josh Giddey. I think he's the guy to move.
Josh Giddey in a first round and a first round pick. That's a lot. I've seen some mock trades.
I think you move Giddey and a couple first, and you go get a baller.
But who?
I don't know.
I think for Giddey and a first round, maybe two. Probably 2.
You trying to bring Kevin Durant back? I know the Suns aren't doing the trade, according to them.
Marketing.
Oh, hey, that is
athletic 7-footer with your defensive 7-footer.
That is so good, Roman. That is so good.
You think would it take 2 first-round picks, 2 firsts and Josh Giddey?
Yeah, you should trade 2 firsts. You should trade 2 firsts.
I'm saying, but can they get Laurie for Josh Giddey and 1 first-round pick?
No, you should go 2.
But yeah, OKC needs to make a move to get one more player that can pair with them.
Yes.
Who knows what Chet's going to do this offseason?
Why? Oh, you mean as in terms of like improvement?
Yes.
If he hits the weight room, we'll see.
A lot of guys need to hit the weight room.
I know they do. Like, they do. I'm just saying.
The defensive teams came out. Did you see how many centers on the all-defensive first team?
I mean, the first team is pretty much all centers and then Herb Jones. And then the second team is all guards.
It's all guards, yep. That shows where we're at in the NBA right now. How important bigs are, how important guards are, right there.
The league is ran by bigs. I don't care what you say. The league is ran by bigs. And if you don't want to say, I'm not saying centers, it's ran by bigs. And what I mean, I've said this multiple times in the postseason. Luka Doncic is big for his position, dominates. Where is he right now? He's in the Western Conference Finals. The Minnesota Timberwolves have the 3 trees. They got 3 7-footers, one that plays like a guard, another that's one of the best 3-point shooters in the postseason, and then there's Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. 3 trees, all a different species. You turn around, you look at the Boston Celtics, their forwards are pushing around Indiana Pacers like it's varsity versus JV. I mean,
Jason Tatum is playing the 4, but he's really a small forward, but the dude is 6'10". And if Porzingis isn't hurt, then you're talking about Al Horford coming off the bench for you. So
the league's dominated by bigs. And then you start talking about guys like, you start talking about your Jokic's, like some of these other guys too. Like, I know everybody loves to see some great guards, but like the league is a lot of it's ran by bigs.
It is center and forward heavy right now. That's for sure. And that's why somebody like Ant stands out so much, because we love to see a guard. We love to see a true guard win it all. Yep.
The Steph. Like, we love to see guards win. Kobe, Jordan, Steph. Because guards are more fun. They're more fun to watch.
Entertainment. Yep.
But like, it's a guard's like a pretty girl you see at the club. Like, you might have a really fun time. And this is going to sound crazy, but long term, you want to get married to a big.
No Diddy, please. No Diddy, please.
No Diddy. No, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying.
Top tier comparisons right there.
All time centers. It's just it's a more surefire path to wins. Even because, and I'll tell you, and I'll say it this way, Roman, how many rings does Steph Curry have? Kobe, MJ, and Phil Jackson. He orchestrated 11 of the 11 championships. 12, I think he won one as a player. He won one as a player with the Knicks, but he orchestrated his offense, generated 11 championships, and then Steph brings in 4 more. Steve Kerr, that's his tree. Okay. So the system, and I think Steve modernized the triangle offense. He modernized it, but that system has generated 15 championships led by guards. There's a very strong argument that you could make that if you took out the triangle offense, championships are won by bigs.
Someday.
Like, name the championships that are won by guards that are not, that Phil Jackson or someone related to Phil Jackson was not involved. I'm
Pistons.
That's 1 ring. The only team that didn't have a top 75 player. That's 1 ring. Only one.
Spurs, but their bigs won them their championships.
Yeah.
I mean LeBron's ring.
LeBron's a forward.
LeBron's rings.
LeBron's a forward. He's not a guard.
That's true.
Magic, a forward.
The Bucks win a championship because
they had Kareem and Giannis, 7-footers. Hakeem Olajuwon, big.
Mm-hmm.
You could point to Miami. You could point to Miami, but they still had Shaquille O'Neal. Even though Wade had an incredible run, they still had Shaq. Like. Tell me, I'm on to something, man.
I was gonna say Warriors, but I mean that's
Steve Kerr.
Yeah, that is Steve Kerr.
Stew on that, America. Let me know what you think about that take, because that is piping hot, straight off. Okay.
Bigs have been dominating.
That if you take out Phil Jackson and his tree, you're winning. The only way you're winning a ring is with a big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What does Jordan's career look like if he never gets himself Phil Jackson?
Bro, we know what it looks like. He doesn't win championships. What are you talking about? How many coaches did he have before Phil? 4, 5 coaches?
Yeah, I think it was like 3 or 4 of them.
Like, I know a lot of people are labeling LeBron as a coach killer and Kevin Durant as a coach killer. Bro, Kobe went through like 8 or 9 coaches. MJ had to go through 4 or 5 coaches before he got Phil. Like, without Phil, MJ's not winning. He needed Phil and Scotty. He needed both of those guys.
Phil Jackson is really responsible for the 2 greatest shooting guards of all time.
100%. 100%. And then Anthony Edwards walks into the room. And this
is the issue, Moses. This is what people are talking about right here.
But hear me out. He would have to
walk into the room yet.
He would have to do a lot to move past Dwayne Wade, who I think is considered the 3rd best shooting guard, even though he is probably the most zesty former NBA player that we have. I believe Anthony Edwards has walked into the kitchen. Okay, he has
with
walked
Dwayne
in.
Wade?
No, I think he has walked in, but he is not. There are no seats open at the table. He's walked into the kitchen. The kids' table is still there.
He's knocked at the door for me.
I think he's in the kitchen because he's going to the finals, Roman.
But you say that, but he hasn't, Moses. You have to wait till he goes.
I've told you this every single round.
Right now, this guy only has a 2nd round win. We got to chill, Mo. He hasn't even won his conference yet. Wade won in year 3.
Just saying. Where's the Shaquille O'Neal on this team?
Rudy Gobert.
Don't ever put those 2 in the same sentence. Don't ever put those 2 in the same sentence. Literally ever again in your life.
Defensive player of the year. You know,
Rudy Gobert couldn't scratch Shaq's balls, dude. What are you talking about?
Iverson get there. Ben Wallace, the man has a championship.
Rudy Gobert can't scratch Shaq's balls. Okay, don't ever say that to me again.
That's his version of Shaq.
Don't ever say that again.
Will you stop acting like Rudy Gobert does not have 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards? Will you stop doing that?
Have you ever seen Shaquille O'Neal?
Yes, I have.
Why?
I have. I'm not saying he's the same player. I'm saying that is his Shaq. How can you say it's not? Are you going to say Cat is the Shaq?
No, I don't think there is a Shaq. That's what I'm saying.
I think there is. I think the Defensive Player of the Year is.
Really? Because when he touches the ball on offense, you close your eyes and pray to God that he passes it and it's not a turnover.
But he also holds the defending champs to 80 points, 70 points, anchoring the defense. So
he did. No, he did that. He did do that. That is true.
But only time's going to tell, Mo. Only time's going to tell.
Only time will tell.
You need to relax on this. He's knocking at the door. He's knocking.
Listen,
he's not in the room yet.
By the time we record this next episode, we're already going to have new narratives being written. We're going to see multiple games that Indiana plays, and we'll have multiple games under our belt in the Timberwolves series as well. We have a lot of basketball to look ahead, to look forward to. This is like the last week that we get ball every single night, and so we have to enjoy it while we can because, guys, it's almost over. The season is almost over. So we're going to enjoy it as much as we can. If you feel differently, or if you agree with me, right? If you're on the money side, which really has been me all year long, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Like, do you agree with Mo? Do you agree with Ro? Do you agree with
your team is in the Western Conference Finals? The team that I said people should watch out for is in the Eastern Conference Finals.
It's true. So, but one of us looks really good, and the other just choked game 1.
You haven't even played game 1.
You're dang freaking right. And you're lucky we haven't, because we're going to win that one too. If you're not following us already, please, we are on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, if you use that, Twitter, if you call it X. We're on every social media platform. So please give us a follow at Swishlist Pod. We're on all of your favorite podcast platforms as well. So please, if you enjoyed this episode, share it with somebody. Share it with somebody that needs to learn about basketball, needs to improve their game a little bit. Maybe needs to fix their takes. Feel free to send them this episode, and please check in with us next week. Season's almost over, so there's not very many episodes left. So please make sure you tap in with the at Swishlist Podcast. Roman, send us off.
It is the conference finals, everybody. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you agree with, disagree with. We both got our opinions, and we're gonna tell them. So we want to hear yours too. He's got Minnesota. I don't know who I've got, but I did say the Pacers would make it this far. But like he said, we're on all social medias. If you're not following us, if you're not liking, if you're not subscribing, if you're not interacting with us, it's getting ridiculous. It's really getting ridiculous. Conference finals. Moses and Roman, episode 21, season 2, Swishlist Podcast. We are